All right, welcome to the Car Diary by Hobbyist Thompson podcast slash YouTube live stream. It is January 16th, 9 p.m. on the dot, and we are here with episode 104, which is the fourth episode of season 3. I'm still trying to figure out the title for this, but I think basically it's going to be something like eBay Store 101. Another alternative title I have is an eBay Store monthly subscription worth it? And I have two special guests on. They both have eBay storefronts. They do pay that. We'll get into whether it's like the monthly or the annual, because I know you can save a little bit with the annual. But basically, the reason I wanted to do this is we're still in the first month of 2025. I think we're maybe a little bit past the time when we can say Happy New Year. I don't know. That's for other people to maybe decide. But if you're like me, out there listening to this, you may be thinking about your goals, your strategy, or whatever you want to call it, your attack plan on how to sell your cards in the hobby in 2025. I think a lot of people, again, I don't know what percentage, but a fair amount of people, I'm sure, have an eBay storefront where it's just like the free account and you get the 250 listings. But that's kind of like the bare bones. That's like, in the freemium model, that's the free part. And then there's the premium model where you have these subscriptions. So I wanted to bring on two people who I've gotten to know through Hobby Instagram, and they are, well, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. So as you say your name and your Instagram handle, or whatever you want to say, please tell us who you PC, and do you do this full time, or is it just part time for you? So I'll let Austin go first.
Awesome. Thanks. My name's Austin, Carlos_Rodon_PC on Instagram. Name speaks for itself as far as who I currently PC. And
Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, it's I grew up with Carlos, so it was just natural to dive in there and pick up his stuff and continue doing that to this day. But I've been collecting for many years and just started to, over the years, stop like collecting as much, do a little more buying and selling so I could get some bigger cards into my collection. That's usually the goal, but treat it like a business, and eBay is a big part of that. So looking forward to speaking about my experience with eBay over the years, I guess, and where it's at right now and where it has its place in the hobby currently.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Please go ahead, Chaz.
So I'm Chaz Kaplan, based in Columbus, Ohio. The Hobby Ohio. Started that up a couple years ago. Been collecting since the 80s, I guess. Anything Ohio State, Cleveland-based stuff, Browns, Guardians, Indians, Cavs. The Force was an indoor soccer team, actually. I've done a lot of buying over the last 4 or 5 years. It's not my full-time gig. It is definitely, I would say, 50% of my main job at this point. I'm a large-scale event producer, music festivals, food-based festivals. I also own the Columbus Food Truck Festival. Just a little shameless plug, but that's what I do for a living. The hobby and the cards kind of gives me a mental break from a lot of those large scale productions, and I love focusing in on it. I also do Ellie De La Cruz, man, is a big PC right now.
Nice. Wait, so when you say large scale event producer, I'm thinking hard shows, and then I'm thinking Fanatics Fest.
Yeah, I mean, I could put on a show like Fanatics Fest. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I think my personal festival that I've owned the largest amount of people has come 2019. We had about 100,000 people over 2 days at the festival. Wow. 75 food trucks, 2 stages, big free entry sort of thing. And then we've done, if you're familiar with like Louder Than Life and those kind of festivals, there's one that's called Incarceration that's in Central Ohio. That's at the prison where Shawshank Redemption was filmed.
Ooh.
And created that in 2018. It's about an hour away from Columbus. Luckily was bought out during the pandemic by some larger promoters, so I no longer have anything to do with it. But yeah, I've been doing it for about 20 years now.
Now I need a red rookie card, you know. But no, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So,
Yeah,
well, yeah, like I think when you figure out or when you get to know someone who who they PC and how they where they're from, you can kind of get to know who they are. So it's really nice to kind of I guess I should say I've never met you guys either of you in person. This is the first time seeing your faces. First time hearing your voices. I know we've DM'd a little bit on Instagram, and you guys are both very kind folks, and I'm really glad to get this going. So the first question I have for you guys, and then we can go start back with Austin is, what has been your past experience with eBay, kind of like before you took that leap into getting the subscription, and kind of like in talking about that, like what made you want to eventually get this this eBay storefront where you pay like the we'll go through the options on the screen, but like the starter and the basic and all that stuff.
Yeah. Um, I actually I actually used to sell cell phones back in the day. That was like my hustle in high school, into college, and eBay was huge for that. So buying broken, used cell phones, throwing them back up on eBay. So, and I had an eBay account probably when I was 14, a PayPal account when I was 14, before some of the regulations that required you to have like EIN number, other, a TIN or something for a business to have either of those accounts. So I was really early on, um, working with eBay on my own account, basically, not on a parent's account like a lot of kids have right now for their cards. So I got to see like the change over the past decade plus of what eBay's become. Um, so it's been pretty cool to see some of the advancements that eBay's had. As much as folks like to complain about eBay, which is another thing we can touch on. eBay has really come a long way when it comes to like non-paying buyers, bidders, as much as people refuse to accept that. And also just banning poor buyers. So my experience started back then about 10 years selling cell phones and everything, and it evolved into sports cards. And then during the pandemic is when everything really took off, where you could do a lot of A/B testing on eBay, seeing what people react to, because cards were moving just so fast. So that's when I kicked up the card side of eBay and started, got my first scanner probably early COVID when things were really starting to pop off within cards. And at that time, I was without a subscription. And I also didn't have kids then. So my time was endless. And cards are not like my full-time gig. I work in sales during the day, during COVID, and I work in medical sales. So COVID was actually really good for my business and my day to day. So I didn't have kids at the time. I was working probably 50, 60 hours a week. And then cards were going crazy at the same time. So it was
Yeah.
everything all at once.
So I got a follow up for that. Just doing the cell phones, because I know it's so
Yep.
daunting for any of us to start with that big old, fat zero next to our, handle or name, whether it's starting up an Instagram, eBay store, just anything you do, you have to start somewhere. So you started with that big old zero. How far did cell phones take you? Like, with seller rating or number of items sold? Like, do you remember where you were before you kind of like transitioned into cards?
I probably sold a few cards when I was starting out just on auction, and like learned that I wasn't going to get paid, which back then it was straight to PayPal before managed payments. And I realized like I wasn't going to get paid till I had tracking uploaded and it was delivered. And I did, and that's like your first 20, 25 transactions. And, it was minor stuff. And I got there pretty quick to the point where I was like, okay, I'm getting paid instantly. I'm liquid. I can start buying more cell phones at the time. So that's where it started. And that's what I would suggest to anyone doing eBay: auction a few cards.
Okay.
Build
And
up your feedback.
And before I toss it over to Chaz, like where are you? We're gonna see your store really soon here too, but like where are you currently in like the seller rate? Number of items sold, or what's that number to the right of your name on eBay? If people know what I'm talking about, kind of like that with the star and all that stuff.
I'm at like 4,200
Okay,
right
nice.
now.
Okay, cool. All right, so Chaz, same kind of questions. Like, what was your past experience with eBay? Before getting a subscription, what made you eventually want to get one? Where are you currently with your like seller? I don't even know what to call it, rating or like that again, that number to the right of your name. Where I don't think it's rating; it's more of
Yeah,
like how many reviews
reviews.
you've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So I was just looking that up. I got like 1,204, and I just recently got my first 2 negative feedback in 4 years, and they're obnoxious. They were sellers that tried to get me to change shipping rates and all sorts of different deals after they won the auctions. Waited till the 4th day, which is the deadline, right, to pay, to start asking me questions and communicate, all sorts of nonsense. So, anyways, that does. I'll come back to that, but that's a part of having the store and paying for the subscription. Is eBay's customer service reps will respond and back me up a little bit more when it comes to BS negative feedback. I think they go look at their account, look at their feedback, and make adjustments accordingly. They're on one of the negative feed. Not that I want to point out the negative feedback on my account, but on one of them, the guy was like, "This guy's a liar, scumbag. Don't trust him, blah, blah." And I commented with what happened. I replied. And then he went on with all sorts of threatening, "Internet, let's get him. This guy's, just kept going." And they actually ended up, I think, shutting down this guy's account for like 7 days because of it, because it's straight block of eBay policies. But anyways, I digress there.
That doesn't sound like the hobby at all. I mean,
No,
even Austin was talking about people complaining in the hobby and people being bad actors. That never happens in our wholesome, wonderful, pristine hobby.
I've been able to finally calm down off of the Facebook social media groups. I won't name any of them in specific, but to look at them more of an entertainment side of things rather than, and it sucks because when I first started, I did look at those pages as kind of resources, and now I just see it every day. People put up a question, they just get bombarded. It's a shame. But anyways, in 2020, I got destroyed in my business. Obviously, the entertainment business, hospitality, everything was just shut down crazy. And I started flipping sneakers. That was the move when I realized that Nike would allow you to return sneakers in pretty much any condition within, I think, 60 days. So I was nonstop buying sneakers and trying to flip them. And if I couldn't make a profit on them, I would just send them right back to Nike and get my money back. It was actually ingenious. Then obviously like a year later, the baseball cards or sports cards, I was like, you know what, there's nowhere to refund these. So I got to go head first and start selling them. I went with the strategy, what Austin was saying. And I very simply, I've had eBay as well for like 20 years, and I would buy like concert posters and things like that, but I never used it on a full throttle basis like I am now. But I went on, when I started doing the sports cards, someone else, Gucci Rips, actually, if you're familiar with him, he kind of gave me some tips. And I put up like 20, 30 listings, all $1, $2, $3 cards. I just wanted to get them sold as quickly as possible to build up the feedback on my page and do quality transactions and get them out there so that I would somewhat become a reputable seller fairly quickly. That is absolutely the move. And that's the biggest recommendation, I think, like Austin said, give to anybody, is just put up $1, $2 cards, sell them, get them out there. So I was doing that. I also, another piece of advice I got from Gucci Rips, and I don't know if this is true or not. I don't think anybody can answer it. The eBay algorithm, I put up 3 cards minimum a day. I list, whether they're $500 cards, $10 card, a $1 card, just making sure that I hit that number. Now, on Saturday mornings, I got nothing going on, I might list 100 cards. If I know I'm not going to be around, I'll schedule out the listings. So I was doing this, and if you think about it, 31 days in the month, 31 days, you're listing 3 cards a day. You get to that the 20th or whatever, the 22nd, and all of a sudden you're going to start paying for 25 cents or $1 to list that card. I did that for about a month, and then I started researching the pay for subscription. How do I change this? Well, first I called eBay and I was like, this is BS. Why are you charging me? I'm making you money. You're getting a 12, 13, 14% off every transaction or whatever. Well, we offer this service. So I looked at the plans, and with the amount of inventory that I was bringing in and buying, also doing a lot of breaks, it was coming in so fast, so hard. I needed to sell these cards. I needed to get them listed online. So I looked at these packages. The first thing was, I know I'm going a little far here, Denny, if that's okay. I'm going into the store.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna show the store in a bit, but let me
why. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, the question below is what I want to ask, but I did want to ask because you talked about scheduling the listings. It may be me being super cheap, but also me just kind of being like, you know what? I don't want to give them an extra 10 cents per listing, but my understanding is, unless they've changed it, or you can tell me if the store you get to do this for free, but for every listing you want to schedule in advance to like end at like 9 p.m. on a Sunday, you have to pay like 10 cents per listing. And so what I just do is I just make a draft of like 30 to 40 listings, and I just wait until like Sunday evening, for a 7-day list, for a 7-day auction start, and then just do them all at one time. But you were shaking your head. Is
that for a non-business account?
Yeah. For a user, for a free account user.
Okay. Well, so the first thing I did was I got rid of it from being like my personal social security number and created an LLC, and everything runs through that EIN number.
Mm-hmm.
So that may have changed some things without getting the storefront. I don't know, but I don't recall that. I don't remember that happening. Maybe that's a new feature to try and get people to buy the store.
Yeah, you should double check that, Denny. I think you can schedule stuff for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's like that. If you're running auctions, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you're running auctions that are 3-day auctions, they absolutely charge you.
Okay.
Yeah, or 10-day.
Got it. All right. We have a good question from Reginald down here, but before that, I want to jump over to Austin and then ask Chaz the same thing. So, please apologize if you already mentioned it, but I don't think you did. But like, what was like that turning point for you to go from that free account, with the cell phones or the sneakers, to when you're like, I got to take this more seriously. I want to pay. Not I want to, but I feel like I'm making the decision to go ahead and jump into the pool with that, $5 a month subscription. So Austin.
Yeah. Mine was relatively more recently when I had kids, probably my first kid too. Time gets limited. So it's like, I can't be on Instagram. I can't be doing Facebook fire sales. Like, I can't be making posts on Facebook. Takes time. I don't feel like going back, checking it, managing it. And it's a little more automated for, to have eBay, post something on eBay, auction, buy it now, get it up there. And then with the storefront, I was like, there's a little bit of branding, which I don't really do too much branding. Building a brand is something I would say, like, if you're serious about it and you have a lot of time, like, build it out, get your business cards, make your stickers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It may seem cheesy to have your stickers and stuff, and everyone is just some guy in a room that has an eBay account at the end of the day at card shows. Even if you're an influencer, even if you're not, you go back home and you have your card room,
Yeah.
But you should do that. I think it's good for you if you're trying to really build up your eBay. Something I still need to do. I'm not perfect in that sense, but that was my turning point when my time became more limited, and it was a little easier to get stuff on eBay than some other channels. And Denny, it's another podcast probably, but if you want to talk about ComC,
yeah,
I'm a
it's
huge
definitely
ComC guy, and I can break that down.
So you do both ComC. So you do ComC and you have your eBay store listings, the monthly subscription. So you pay eBay, they're like, $5 a month, have a storefront. I wanted to talk about the newsletter thing before we turn over to Chaz, but you also do ComC. So you have I don't know what they call them, like omni-channel or whatever, like the multiple channels of distribution for your cards. Like you're not betrothed into just one platform.
No, and you shouldn't be. There's a place for everything.
Awesome. Okay.
In the hobby, as far as what you're selling, if you're, and we could break all those down, but low end stuff is great for ComC.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, just a 1-minute answer version of like, when you look at a card that's right in front of your face, what makes you decide whether it's a ComC card or an eBay card?
Value, I would say, is number one. Number two,
do you get more out of ComC? Do you find that you get more sales out of it? Higher dollar sales? Percentage wise, like a $10 card on eBay, it'll go for like $13 on ComC. I know
I think that's a fair general statement too, but it's also like I don't want to list a bunch of dollar cards on eBay, and I'm always first class. Like I'm not doing the eBay envelope. Like I just don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
Those under $10 cards, even under $20 cards, I like to send to ComC unless there's like a time limit on them. Roki Sasaki is going to he's an international signing coming over from Japan. I've been buying his stuff for the past year. I have a bunch of his stuff on there that's cheap, but it's going to sell around this time. I don't want to wait for ComC. I sent them a bunch of stuff to get it listed. It takes time. But the cheaper stuff goes there. And then eBay has a little more of the stuff that is time sensitive. 2024 Prism, that should be on eBay. You shouldn't be sending it to ComC right now if you really want to move it for top dollar. Flawless doesn't go to ComC. Flawless is an eBay card. People pay above comps on eBay for Flawless. But you also have to remember that on ComC, everyone has a balance on ComC where it has to be spent on ComC. So folks may be willing to pay more for a card. And I am too. Like I'll buy Hall of Famers, rookies, Ken Griffey, early 2000s, late 90s, refractors. Like those are going to be really liquid to sell. I'm going to use my ComC balance to buy cards at comps that I could sell pretty quickly for cash. And I'm buying higher end stuff on ComC to sell for cash because on ComC you have a 10% cash out fee. So if you buy a $500 card on ComC, it comps at 500. Maybe you sell it for 450 cash or 425 cash. I would rather have that cash than sit there and take a PayPal payout that I'm going to get taxed on and the 10% cash out from ComC. So that's
you just gave me. So I did a podcast with the owner of ComC and did a show with him up in Cleveland last April, and you just gave me a way better explanation of how it works and sold me on it. I'm going to send him boxes of like dollar cards.
Hey, this podcast episode is sponsored by ComC and eBay. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't think we were going to talk about it. I did have a question near the end about why would you not consign with a different eBay, power seller or ComC? But I'm glad that it's come up. Thank you for your good answer about maybe more faster things you need to get out of sooner, because ComC does have that processing time, right? I mean, they're not it's not insta. As soon as they get it, they're gonna list it up for you, and it does seem like it's like almost like a an internal ecosystem, or like kind of like their payments and the credits going back and forth. That's like all like it's all like I don't know, like ComC money, right? So unless you want to almost like taking money out of your IRA, you want to get taxed on it or something like that. So thank you for that answer. That's really great. So Chaz, I do want to also ask you the same question about, like, did you have like this one particular moment or turning point, or was it just kind of like a long drawn out decision? Like, what made you go from a free account to the monthly subscription account?
Yep. Then I'll touch on that, just the consignment thing, and then I'll go back to that. I just for the first time did the PSA vault through their eBay account, because I'm noticing that eBay account in particular is doing 30% higher comp sales than any other page I can find anywhere. I'll give examples of that later, but that's the consignment thing I'm going to really start looking into. The transition, kind of where I was going with was, I was, listing 3-4 cards a day, trying to stick to that model. From what I understand, it potentially triggers an algorithm within eBay to get your page more views when you do that, when you're constantly adding cards. But then I reached that limit very quickly. And probably for a month or two, I was getting charged that quarter per listing thing or whatever. And then I was having lulls in sales, which was annoying. And I'm like, why am I getting charged this? But these cards aren't selling and I'm listing them at comps. There's no reason they shouldn't move. And then I started looking at the tracker and the cards weren't even getting views. Let alone watchers. They weren't even getting views. Does eBay do this on purpose? I'm sure they have the capabilities to throttle views and all that, whatever, just like every other site. So I called in, I spoke to somebody, tried to get the explanations. I think prior to having the business account, now I have the $22.50 monthly account is what I have. It knocks down a percentage point of the base seller fee. So I think it goes from 13.25 to 12.25, I believe, roughly. Maybe the non-business account is a little bit higher than that. That's one. It's unlimited buy it now listings. It's 1,000 auctions, which I will never do because I hate auctions. But I do put I will put higher end cards on auction recently. And I'll also put some cards that I know are only going to sell for $20-$30 on auction, because I am a firm believer that it is driving traffic. It's a marketing technique, what's called a loss leader. If I know a card is worth $30 and it goes on auction and it only sells for 20, I still know that it got eyeballs on my eBay page. And odds are, because of my service, because I typically ship out within 24 hours, I get good reviews. I get a lot of repeat customers. But that was the turning point, was being overcharged, looking at my sheets, saying I'm kind of losing here. I'm not really picking up steam. I got to do something. So that $22 that I'm spending a month, what is that? Almost $300 something annually. I am my 90-day average is pretty darn high and on sales, and I'm pretty happy with it. It pays for itself.
Awesome.
Now I do take advantage of it. It goes on to the marketing aspect of what I'm paying for. Again, being in the entertainment business, my original coming into it was marketing and PR. By no means an expert whatsoever, but I do know what I'm doing. I have multiple Instagram accounts that are in the 5 figures. Some legit or some illegitimate followers, but the majority of them are legitimate.
All right.
But it's the content and pushing it. So
top,
the turning point was also a lot of friends of mine are in the business, and I was struggling. And for whatever reason, I will say another thing, just so I get it in to protect other people that might be watching. eBay is constantly, now that I have this business account, they're trying to push me on extra marketing techniques to pay per click. So spend a $5 rate per day to get more views on this. Now, I had this $100 free credit sitting in my inbox for this specific deal for months, because I knew it was kind of BS gimmick. And finally, I started getting these sales reps calling me that were showing me the back end of the business portal, some things that I had never seen before, like some of the deeper dives into the click-through rate and the conversion rates. So anyways, I did this $100 free promotion. $5 a day was my limit spend. Got something like 7 million. This was the first week, the last week of October through November, knowing that that's the slowest time of the year for card sales. Everybody starts thinking about the holidays. I did this, got something like 7 million views to my page. maybe 100,000 click-throughs total over the month time period. 0 sale conversions.
Oh my goodness.
0.
Wow.
I will never do that again. That was the point of that story. But so if you get into that deep dive after you get a subscription, I highly don't mess around with that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's good. That's good. Kind of like, thank you for being the canary in the coal mine there. So Austin, I want to ask you the same kind of, because Chaz was talking about the auction versus like, do you like auctions and all that? But I also will get to Reginald's question here. So if you want to kind of talk about, like, do you like auctions? Like, what type of cards do you auction versus buy it now versus or best offer? And then to both of you, I'll ask this question from Reginald, which is, do you guys prefer 3-day over 5-day auctions? I mean, I'll personally say I prefer 7-day. And also, what percentage of sales are non-payers? So, Austin, let's start with this question first.
7-day auction is the only answer. It's the only correct answer. I mean, there's a place for 5 days, I guess, if you want money quicker. But I mean, 7 days, more exposure. It's quite simple there. And auction versus buy it now versus OBOs, a good conversation to have, because you should do all of the above. Okay. You should always be running some sort of auctions, because I used to be a strictly buy it now guy. And when I started running auctions, I would get more hits on my buy it now stuff and more sales.
Traffic. Got it.
And like, I could probably get data to back that up if I wanted to go and do those analytics. I don't. It's just more of like, hey, I've noticed this trend. Mm-hmm. So I continue to do that. And like, cards you should auction are like hot cards.
Okay.
Your Brady's, your Wemby's, your quarterbacks, you know, those should all be auctions. And especially if you don't have much into a certain card and you know it's going to sell, you know, say you bought a lot, you know, in the sense, you know, about 10 cards.
All right, a lot of cards, yeah.
Yeah, you've sold a few of those cards, you've made yourself whole.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Everything else is in the black. Maybe you should auction those. You know, if you just have them sitting there, you're not grading them or whatever, you should auction those. You should get liquid quick. Liquidity is a term that everyone just learned in the hobby recently, but it's and it's a buzzword, and they use it. They use it correctly, but just way more than they should. But that's what you should do. I think, you know, you shouldn't go to the grave with some of these cards when you're already like way ahead. Just auction it and move on.
Okay.
And there's certain cards where, like, if there is comps on it, maybe, and they're all over the place, and it could be a card that shifts, and maybe it's like a GOAT card, like a Brady of some sort, that would be like a good OBO card. Let people make some auctions. Mm-hmm. And then some other stuff, if it's I love one of ones. I do a lot of 90s refractors and some of the rare 90s stuff.
Yep.
I would say that should be buy it nows with a reasonable price that could get hit as a buy it now, because with those buy it nows too, you have the ability to send offers to buyers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I before I get to some other things and I turn it over to Chaz again, I agree 7-day auctions over 3 and 5, but then why not 10? Right? I mean, that's the max. You can't do 15-day, but like, why not do 10-day auctions? In your opinion, Austin?
That's where, because there is extra cost for the 10-day.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I believe, and I mean, just the return on that extra 25 cents. That's I don't really bark about 25 cents here and there microtransactions if it's worth it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do comp see I'm paying 50 cents a card. I understand the value that some of that can bring, but I don't see like too much of a value there for it to really make sense. So that's where I draw the line.
I'll jump right into that.
Chaz, yeah, please go ahead.
So interesting. I just started messing around with 10 days. 7 days and 3 days, yes. like you were saying, if you need to cash quick or whatever, and some players super hot, like a Jaden Daniels as an example right now, or CJ Stroud last season. If I would get a card in on a Tuesday, my only option was to list that thing at 11 p.m. on Thursday so that it would end after the afternoon game on Sunday night, right? So I would have to do 3 days. But recently, with the current example is Ohio State playing in the national championship on Monday night. I got a bunch of Bowman U cards in, Ohio State players, hot cards, low numbered. I got them in 11 days prior, right? So I was like, I put a bunch of them on 10-day auction, mixing in, doing that whole strategy of doing some 7-day ones that end on Sunday night before the game. I scheduled these out. The 10-day auctions, and when we look at my page, you can see like one of them has like 70 watchers on it and 30 different bids, and it's kind of halted out. But I know that those snipers, that's the term, those snipers are going to hit it that last 10 minutes or whatever of the auction, or last 5 seconds, frankly, is what they do. But the 10 days, if you have time, I actually am liking the 10-day auctions now. They don't charge me. Maybe it's with the tier that I have purchased on the business plan. I'm not getting dinged on that. I still do get dinged on the 3-day auction, though.
You brought up you know what, I not that I didn't want to show it, but or talk about it, but the snipers. Do you guys like? Do you not mind Gixxon and people who use sniper tools?
I mind it on mine, but I use it.
Yeah, I can't believe you brought up Gixxon. I didn't know there's it's one of those unspoken things.
Is it like Voldemort? the tool that shall not be named?
I'm pro snipers. I mean, like, it's at your disposal.
I just don't want someone to wait forever. Like, people have lives. Like,
I'll tell you what I do. I have people that sit on auctions. It's a 99. I know it's a $50 card, for example, and I have 5 watchers. Why do I have 5 watchers that not one of them is bid 99 cents? If it gets 36 hours prior to the end of the auction, boom, the price of that card just went up to $20.
So I was gonna do this later, but let's just get right into it. Please give me that card name, or like let's look up your store, Chaz, first, and then we'll go to Austin. Although I do have a little funny chat comment here saying from Justin, Austin, is there a Carlos Rodon? How do you even say his name? Rodon or Rodon? Rodon. Is there a Carlos Rodon Grail you would trade your firstborn for?
Yep. Bowman Chrome Superfractor, his first Bowman, and the Topps Chrome Superfractor. And Topps.
How old's your firstborn?
Yeah, right. How old is it?
Yeah, he wouldn't know. But the
oh my goodness,
I've talked to that guy too who has that card. It's cool. It's dual. It's sticker. But yeah, those other ones I know exist. I've seen the Superfractor, the non-auto Superfractor.
These are different players.
His first Bowman sold on eBay. Actually, I put in like an auction, or I put in an offer, and the guy ended up selling it for like $50 more. So it's chapped me ever since then. And I think he sold it for $450. And I mean, if someone had it, if that person still had it, I'd say I'd give you $1,500 today. Gotcha. No questions asked.
Well, if you're listening to this interview, your Carlos Rodon cards, send them over to Carlos_Rodon _PC. So Chaz, that particular card you're talking about with 70 watchers, can you give me the name of it, please?
Yeah, it's I think it's 70 watchers. 2024 Bowman U, or Bowman Best U, whatever. Will Howard.
Will Howard.
Emeka Egbuka.
Oh no.
Egg EGBU. BU.
BU.
KA. I just sold a Travis Hunter Superfractor the day before the Heisman. I was pretty excited about that.
Wow.
Speaking of super refractors, it was my bigger sales in a while.
I was watching that one. If
I
it
sold
was
it for
Bowman.
Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. Is it this one? Yeah, it's your name, the Hobby Ohio. So is it this one or is it this one? The triple auto?
Well, I have both of those. I've got the triple auto listed extremely high, but open to offers. And because, you know,
did you
the
pull
biggest
this?
flaw in the game is, man, sometimes I just don't want to get rid of the card. So
yeah,
it's priced
I agree.
where it's
yeah, your
priced.
name is Hobby. Your name is the Hobby Ohio. Absolutely.
I live in Columbus. I went to Ohio State, but yeah,
you'll sell your Michigan cards real for real cheap, I'm sure.
Oh,
but,
I flip those things, man. They're gone. Actually,
so,
I have friends from Michigan, and I sell them the JJ McCarthy's.
That's funny.
But
so
the dual,
this card,
so I got the dual and I got the triple, and I made a mental decision. I said, well, I have the triple. I'm going to list it high. I love the dual too. That, you know, they happen to both be to 10. They're color matched. I was like, this thing's got to sell. I looked at the comps. The to 25 of the dual sold for like 280 on auction.
Okay.
So I believe I timed this thing. When does it end? Does it,
it says it
Sunday,
ends
Sunday
Tuesday
night?
at 9:25 p.m.
Okay.
Ends in 5 days.
So after the game, that was on purpose.
Okay.
And
you think they're gonna win, of course. I mean, you're rooting for them, and with both your heart and your brain, I guess. Or
that's a whole other topic, man.
Okay.
after what I've seen out of this team this year, I'm not going to the game uber confident with them. But
stressful.
Deep down, I'm like, we're gonna smack them around, you know.
Right.
Who knows, man? I'm just looking forward to a good game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you have this dual 64 watchers ending Tuesday 9:25 p.m. 25 bids. Let's just take a quick look at it's going to ask me to sign in. I don't want to show all that information here, so I won't sign in. It looks like you have 62 viewed in the last 24, 64 watchers. This is going to go through authenticity guarantee. So I guess maybe two questions that come off off my dome right now are, as sellers, do you like the authenticity guarantee? And then the second question I had was, well, let's go with that one first.
I personally do as a buyer. As a seller, I've run into some hiccups. Now it does. I've sold a couple last year. I sold a couple color blasts with the white ones, and they had some really weird roller marks on the back that I did not catch. And I had them listed as near mint or whatever. Now, near mint by PSA standards
8 or better.
Is an 8 or better.
Yeah.
Not a 10.
No.
So that's a big debate that's going on online. If I list, I think both of these cards, I believe I listed as near mint or better, because I did take a very good, clean look at them, and I'm pretty sure they're very solid. But I will list cards at excellent. I've never listed a card at good. But
I feel like that's for like the vintage cards. But no, I get what you mean.
But I was like, I got one of the Shohei Ohtani short prints or whatever out of the stupid 50-50 box.
Oh gosh.
And luckily enough, I got a short print out of that. And I listed it and sold it pretty high, but I listed it as excellent. And I listed it as excellent because on the top ridge, there was definitely a little bit of white. I'm waiting if one of these days, but it still goes to authentication or whatever. One of these days, I'm waiting for it to go through and I haven't had this happen. It goes through authentication, and then I get a message from the seller saying this card is dinged up or whatever. And I'm like, I think it happened once. And I'm like,
that's where it's on your side. I think the authentication
is on your side. So I like it that way. But the problem is if you have it near mint or better, and there's a little whitening on the corner. I've had 2 cards sent back to me that didn't go through authentication that absolutely would have been a 9.
Got it.
Or better. And eBay doesn't take the money out of let's say I have $1,000 in my eBay account. They don't take the money out of that. They take it out of the credit card that's attached to your account.
Oh, okay.
Without telling you. They take it out. They take it out the same second that they send you the email saying your card didn't clear authentication. So on that side of it, I really don't like it. But as a buyer, I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Before I go to a little bit more of your store, Austin, what are your thoughts on the authenticity guarantee? You would generally agree and we can move on, or is there more?
Yeah, I like it. The only part that's frustrating is like as a buyer, sometimes if I buy a one of one and they deny it because of condition, I'm like, just send it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
send it through. Like I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Just
Um,
give it to
Do
me.
they send it? Do they send it?
no, they won't. They won't because it's like an automated system at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of chapped me before, and I messaged the seller. I said, "Hey, just list it again and list it as like Porsche quality. I'll buy it again." And they never got back to me, and I ultimately didn't get it. Is what it is. But I
Gotcha.
mean, I sandbag all of my conditions
Gotcha.
and I put a note, hey, it may have surface scratches that
Yeah.
prevent it
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
grading. Because during COVID, that was the era of this isn't a PSA 10, I'm sending it back. And
Gotcha.
that's past us at this point too,
Mhm.
where I would almost say like you can buy on eBay to grade.
True.
Like,
Okay, so thank you. I love this discussion. And Rural Squirrel, thank you for saying you've been a eBay user since 97. As you can see from Hobby Ohio, I think it said it earlier, but it said that he's been a user since 99. 2.6K, 2,600 items sold, 263 followers. This is his shop. So let's go through it a little bit. And right off the bat, your page looks different than mine because you have featured categories, right? That's what you can get with the store is you can categorize your cards, and it seems like you have more than just cards. You have like this posters.
Yep. I sell a lot of poster prints.
Nice.
I haven't done the categories as best you can, but it's just adding some flair. I changed the photographs up.
Yeah.
But all the cards I have, they're for sale.
Yeah, so you have like an Adley. So this kind of scrolls left to right, I guess, a little bit. Oh, look at that. Depth of Dark.
Yeah.
That's a case hit. That looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
Depth of Darkness.
Is that number? What is that numbered out of? No
It's
number?
not numbered. They're just super short print.
Got it.
But they're crazy cards. They're awesome. So
So
I learned something very important, and just another little lesson to anybody. A buddy of mine that owns Greeny Sports Goods, sports cards in Cleveland, Northeastern Ohio. You know, it took me a while to realize everything is for sale, even my PC cards.
sounds like $1 Million Man. Everyone's got a price.
it just has to be that way. Otherwise, you're going to get locked down, and you're not going to use that word liquid. You're not going to be liquid ever.
Yeah.
I do something interesting with these stores. So where does that say? It says save up to okay. So save up to 10% on there. As an example, that's a multi. I have 10 of those cards or whatever I have. So I'm offering if you buy 2, get 10% off. Buy 3, whatever.
Yeah.
But what you're not seeing on here is I alternate weekly. I'll do different sales on different cards. I can run these promotions for periods of time. They can be BOGOs, buy one, get one free, buy one, get 20% off. I will send, I don't have a newsletter. I haven't taken advantage of that, I should say, but I will send followers a specific, 10% off coupon for the next 36 hours. I did this a lot around the holidays, and it actually worked really well. Repeat buyers. Really cool.
I know Austin has a newsletter, which I definitely want to get into when we talk about his store. But the reason I looked at this one because that's a Florida Gator, and I know you guys had Urban Meyer for a little bit too, and he broke the hearts just like he broke the Gators' hearts. Having said that, 2 things. One, it looks like you do have a lot of college, at least up here. But are you pack pulling this stuff, or are you buying it from like local card shows?
This is the downside. No, I don't know if it's a downside, but when you go to my eBay store, this is what I just listed like within the last week, right? So your newest listings are showing up right here on the top, which I don't necessarily like.
Gotcha.
That's why I do like the featured categories, right? But it is college football playoffs, so that's what I'm trying to feature.
Right. Okay.
But I get in a lot of breaks. I buy cases. But in regards to the Bowman Ohio State cards, I deep dove into Ohio State on breaks.
Yeah. Makes sense. Totally.
And I won.
Yeah. No, that's very cool.
I did that last year with CJ Stroud in Texas.
Very nice. So you have some photos that have like maybe this black background, but at least for the recent ones with the college, a lot of them look like they have like the blue background. And as a lot of people may know that little white in the back, that's kind of like the bottom corner of the light box. So you have a light box, it looks like. And when it comes to the light box, before I press record, you were talking about kind of like the scanners and like the photography. Like, can you kind of share your experience with your difficulties with the scanning and now what you currently use for these really high quality pictures?
Yeah, so I'm taking the photos with my iPhone. No crazy camera. I do with the 14 Pro, which it takes better resolution. I do have a very small photo box, light box, which I bought, I think, for like $25 on Amazon at one point with the LED lights on top. It covers it up. It takes a while to figure it out so you don't get weird glare, especially on the slabs. It is cheap, kind of glossy paper there. I had the black one, and the black one got all scratched up, so I recently switched to the blue one.
Right.
Some of the cards that won't like kind of lay at an angle like that, I will put flat on like the kind of foam.
Right.
Foam
so you don't
paper.
have right. I know what you mean.
But it's hard because of the overhead lights. It's well worth getting a light box.
Light box,
cheap one. It's literally the one I have is, I think, 16 inches by 16 inches by 16 inches. It's super small. It's on my desk.
Yeah.
I can collapse it down. It's a USB plug-in. So the USB cord just plugs right into my, whatever charger outlet.
I really have to be one of the very few like content creators who doesn't have a light box. Like I have like two different. I should show my setup one day on my YouTube. But like basically, I have like a ring light. I have a different lamp, and I know that when these two different lights hit at a different time, you reduce the shadow. So anyway, I'll talk about that another time. But
it was the first thing.
Your photos, your photos are very good.
It was the first thing I bought when I started getting serious on posting listings. The second thing I bought was the laser printer, label printer,
thermal printer, like a Rollo.
That was the second thing I bought.
Yeah, no, I love my Rollo, very much so, and I use Pirate Ship a lot. If it's not for eBay's
off
eBay
eBay,
shipping.
eBay, I use Pirate Ship for sure.
Yeah.
But the third thing, just to add to it, the envelopes, Austin, you get to the envelopes was the third thing I bought, and making sure the rigid I do under $20 sales. This was a topic that you had on your list about shipping, and we didn't answer one of your viewers' questions about the buy it now versus auction and what's the unpaid. Did somebody ask that?
Yeah, someone asked what percentage of sales are non-payers?
When I first started deep diving this, I was getting a lot more non-payers. eBay just changed their policies. If you do an auction, I always put a buy it now option on that auction, because with that you can click require immediate payment. eBay is starting to get better with when you click to bid on an auction as a buyer, they do run your credit card.
Okay.
Right. It doesn't always happen. I would say the percentage right now is probably less than 5% unpaid, and that's pretty good. I'll deal with that loss. But now the buy it now since January 1. Prior to January 1, I could see if somebody click to buy it now or made me an offer, and I go to review offer, there would be a little green checkbox on it that says when you accept this offer, the buyer's credit card will be immediately charged. There would also be no mark. So I knew that I was gambling if I accepted this offer. So with those, I would always make a counter offer, because if I send a counter offer and they accept, it should auto charge them.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But starting January 1, I've noticed that little green check mark has gone away. And every single offer, and I probably had like 30, 40 offers on cards over $100 over the last 2 weeks. Every one that I've accepted, immediately when I say accept, then the green light pops up and says processing payment. I have payment within the next 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So eBay has been saying for a long time that they were going to start absolutely auto charging people.
Yeah.
And so far, knock on wood,
okay,
they've followed through with that. That's a whole nother feature that a lot of buyers don't like. I happen to like it. I've also filtered out people that have zero feedback from being able to buy it now from me.
Gotcha. Well, that's very cool. Thank you. And thank you for the update on the state of eBay
Sorry.
in early 2025. No, I love it. It's fantastic. I am going to switch over to Austin and his shop. And as I do that, I wanted him to maybe talk about, are we going to, can I find the newsletter in your store?
No, you can. I think it goes to your email.
Got it. So what's the best card so we can, I know you talked about Roki Sasaki and all that, but what should I type in here to pull up your store?
You should do Roki Sasaki Orange Chrome.
Orange Chrome. Topps Chrome or just Orange Chrome? That's good.
That should populate it. Yep.
All right. Let's see.
Go back up to your search and do where it says search instead for Roki Sasaki. Click on that. Scroll down. Oh. Go back to your prior search.
Prior search. Okay. This one?
No,
I'm sorry.
Just do Roki Orange Chrome. Search that one.
Roki Orange Chrome. Jorback? No. DC Sports. Carlos, here we go. All right. We have I really do like the 2024 look, and 2025 I think I'm not a huge baseball guy, but I got to take my Topps any way I can get it until they get the basketball license, but
yeah,
I do like the look of this. And so we have here a Roki Sasaki 24 out of 25 Black Mamba numbering 2024 Topps Chrome NPB. So this is like the Nippon Professional Baseball Chiba Lotte Marines Orange. So you like to put the name of the player first, and then you go with the set name.
I'll switch it up. However I'm feeling.
So
yeah.
You have 24 watchers on this, 27 viewed in the last 24 hours, $83 currently on bids with 19 bids. Ends in 4 days on Monday, 10:55 p.m. Eastern. Condition, you put this as ungraded excellent. You do have 4,000 plus eBay seller rating, 100% positive. Let's see what else you put up in here. I didn't mention this, but I liked how Chaz did the kind of like the list, the item description thing. He had like the kind of like the template or language about this and that. Austin doesn't have it here, but it's to each their own.
Yeah, mine's my own template, and it's super lazy.
Okay,
because I'm also thinking about mobile. Like if I were to do like the HTML coded version, which I've thought about, it can look wonky. I don't know how it's going to look on mobile, and I don't want to mess with it too much. So.
I like here's about, and I'm sorry I didn't read Chaz's Hobby Ohio about, but here it says, this is like his storefronts, kind of like elevator pitch, right? The home for 99-cent sports card auctions and 99-cent electronics auctions. Make an offer is an option on all fixed price listings. Feel free to make an offer. Free combined shipping on all orders. I imagine they're not getting a cell phone and a card, but who knows?
The cell phones are almost a thing of the past where I need to edit it.
So no, this is a beautiful. So you do you have a light box? Like how did you take this picture?
No, so I'm all scanner.
All scanner.
And I think Chaz's light box looks pretty sharp because there's a lot of folks who just like use their iPhone and it doesn't turn out well. I want to bid on those auctions though, because a lot of people don't like that. I love a blurry picture. Like that's great. I'm gonna save that seller. I'm gonna buy from them some more.
Little tip. Yeah, I like that. So I'm Korean. I can't read the Japanese, but I really
wait. Hold on. You do buy from the blurry picture
I
auction.
want bad descriptions. I want bad pictures.
incorrect spellings, right? That's a big thing.
Because just rookie time all day and let me get it.
No, it's just because like I know other people aren't gonna have an attraction to that listing.
I mean, I looked at least 10 different auctions today that had that, and I just kept scrolling. So
exactly,
you're absolutely
exactly.
But couldn't you get burnt with those type of listings where
Yes.
they just don't show the surface and it just looks so terrible, Austin?
If you're buying a card for cheap, and I mean you take that risk, that's also folks who are like, I don't want to grade. Like I don't want to spend $45 after it's all said and done to send one card to PSA. And it's like, that's fine. I'll take it. I'll throw it in my order of 50 to 100 cards I'm sending to PSA each month, and and just play the numbers. Are you sharing the screen of something?
Oh my gosh, have I not been this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You're just on the Roki auction.
That is so amateur of me. I'm gonna stop sharing screen. I've been scrolling on your whole store right now, and
that's what I'm doing on my other.
Secondary. All right, so let's go back to the Roki. Actually, no, I don't even want to go back to the Roki Sasaki. I'll go through it here. Okay, so just to quickly catch people up. See, now it's gonna open up a new screen. Actually, See, I don't even know
that Chloe Kim you got right there. That's an awesome card.
Yeah, okay. I won't. So when I click see all details, it takes me to another tab, and that's what I can't see. So I do apologize. But it did have all the things that I said earlier about the 19 bids, and yeah, it says it right here: 19 bids, 4 days, 53 minutes. It ends Monday, so that's really cool. So let's go to your storefront and just check it out, and let's check out that Chloe Kim as well. So Austin, I almost said Carlos, and I know you don't like that. Austin, you have here your banner is kind of like. You have Giannis. You just have some a variety of athletes from different sports at the front, and then it says here 5,700 items sold, 130 followers. The correct screen is up, right?
Yep, you're good.
Thank goodness. Jeez. So we have auctions ending soon. We have all items. So kind of different pages. Like Chaz went with like the categories at the top, and had a kind of like maybe because he also does like the what is it, music memorabilia. Austin doesn't have the categories, it's just all cards. And then ending soon, then all items. And again, he doesn't have a light box, he uses a scanner, and these pictures look really solid, of course, because it is a scanner. But let's look at so let's search all 157 items and look for Chloe, not Chloe Bag or Chloe Paddington
Kim.
Bag. I don't know. Yeah. So Chloe Kim autograph PSA 10 20. Oh, see, now it's gonna pull up another. See, I used to be a snowboarder, skateboarder, so I love a huge Chloe Kim fan. All right.
Yeah,
I can share.
The alternate, like I dip my toe in tennis and a little bit of everything. I like the alternative.
Somebody did just send me some packs, and I'd never seen them before. I don't think they were Upper Deck, but they were skateboarding packs. I'd never seen them before. There was like Tony Hawk, and there are some old school skaters. I think it was Topps, some version of Topps. But
I love a good loopy auto, and she has a very beautiful kind of curve here. Little streaking on that line across, but other than that, it's a beautiful card. Did you grade this yourself, Austin?
I did not. I bought it graded.
Okay, it's a beautiful card. Oh my god!
Awesome. So are my pictures too good on my eBay page?
They're solid for. I say they're solid for not a scanner, because I'm a always scan guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're solid. And
do you scan with like a flatbed scanner, or are you sliding them through something?
Epson V600 is a way to go. Yep, flatbed, and it works great like out of the box if you have a Windows computer. I have a Mac, and it takes a little. I have to use a different file setting for when they're originally scanned in, and then convert them to JPEG to get the best quality.
do you scan in one by one, or do you just lay a bunch of cards?
You can do multiple cards like on the bed, and then when you're scanning, you can actually select different areas for it to specifically scan and sort of crop the scan, and that's how you get the best quality instead of doing like an entire flatbed run of scanning.
Is it Epson software that you're using to do that? Or
yep. And
right.
I've also seen folks that have like a template, so they can fit cards within the template, so they're all
perfect,
all perfectly aligned. South Park Cards on Instagram does a great job with that. I know he has that. I've seen some of the edges sometimes. But what I also do too is I just take PSA scans.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, I love the PSA scans. Yeah, I use
the PSA scan.
Yeah, I actually go and I even do the third photo where it's the front and the back, just to have a third photo. But yeah, I definitely for PSA. I mean, for all the things people gripe about, kind of like with eBay. I mean, talk about liquidity and ease, less friction. Like they're making selling as easy and quick as possible. I mean, Chaz even talked about PSA auctions getting like 30% higher values. I actually sold on PSA through the vault as well, and their auction, it doesn't count towards my seller rating. I also don't have to ship it out. I know for some people it's important to try to get an extra seller rating and positive review, but I sold. I won't get into all the details, but I was surprised for what it sold for, and I was like, you know what? It got a lot of eyeballs on it. It was a Patrick Mahomes out of 25, and I was like, all right, go ahead. Like,
it's sold for beyond your expectations. Dollar amount?
It was one of those cards that didn't really have a comp. It had a raw comp, and it sold for more than double of the raw comp. So I was like, that's kind of what I was hoping for. And eBay takes its cut and all that. But for me, I was like, you know what? It got a lot of eyeballs, and again, I wouldn't do that for every card. It was just me kind of putting up a test balloon, to be honest with you. I just wanted to give it a shot.
If this goes well, I mean, right now I'm sitting on probably like 90 to 100 cards that are at PSA, and they're like Paul Skeens, whatever, rookie, whatever, nothing crazy, but they're all selling for like $120. PSA 10 right now.
Another good route for stuff like that too is ComC, where they have direct to SGC grading at like $16. And,
do they?
Okay. SGC is good, and for $16, it's not bad. And if you're selling on ComC, you have to pay attention to promos like that too, because all of a sudden your mid grade or like decent grade stuff that may be like Hall of Famers, rookies, they'll start selling like randomly on ComC, and it's because a lot of folks are sending stuff to get graded with SGC through ComC. So lately I've been buying lots on eBay of like 1989 Griffeys and 87 I think Bo Jackson lots, sending them to ComC, and they'll probably get swooped up at a decent, they're like $10 cards anyways. And if you get them in a lot for $5 or half the price they are individually, you're going to get full price for those on ComC. You're going to double your money. And you could, if you have a certain, like if you're buying from DC Sports and you buy a bunch of cards and they all sell or you buy them all at once, ComC has like a box service, sort of like Ship My Cards, where you could ship them straight from DC that you want on eBay straight to ComC, and they'll list them for you. So there's just less hands on stuff.
Nice. I'll tell you,
less card fondling as Sports Card Radio.
Card fondlers, yeah.
I've picked up some steals actually on some of the consignment eBay pages, like when a player has some sort of like momentous game, whatever it is, and because it's on a consignment store, they're not eyeing those players the same way. Like if I see CJ Stroud those 5 touchdowns, I know I'm going right to my listings. I'm kind of adjusting some prices maybe, or Jaden Daniels, whatever. But those consignment stores don't necessarily do that. And there's been multiple times where I've gotten cards. Specifically, it was during the Major League Baseball playoffs, and some things happened. And I got a lot of cards before the playoffs and during the playoffs, and ended up selling them for 3 times the amount I bought them for. that I pulled off of ComC.
That's awesome. That's we're all trying to figure out ways to, what are the plays or I'm trying to get better with the transaction side of the hobby as well. So, when I gotta say though, like flipping and, like I want to get better at, the arbitrage and, opportunities where I can provide value. Of course, grading is one main way. But like when I see cards like this, I just like there's so many cars that I've gone through. I'm just like, I want that. I want that. I just want to,
Yeah.
it's like both of you guys have really cool shops where I'm just like, I wish I had a money tree and I could just bid on this stuff. But I mean, I'm sorry to just take it every which way, but it just came up and I just had to ask. So you have at least two of these like Hall of Fame vet basketball. The other one is a Ralph Sampson 1/1 autograph. It's kind of like a select black prism, and that was at 99 cents with a 7-day listing, and it just got listed up, I guess maybe as we were talking. And then you have this one that's a buy it now or OBO fixed price for $295 for Rick Barry. So can you kind of share what your thought process was with having the Ralph Sampson go for a 99-cent auction start and this Rick Barry going for $295?
I was ready to get liquid on some stuff, but they're all ComC purchases, where I bought them on there and I was, going to list them just through eBay. Some of the stuff, good cards for National, to have. Sometimes I get sick of looking at stuff. Auction it.
Fair enough.
Move on.
Well, I am gonna watch that Ralph Sampson. I don't know if $295 is a good price for the Rick Barry and all that, but like, or like, I know that. How do I say this? They're a little bit before my time, where I have no nostalgia watching Rick Barry or Ralph Sampson. Having said that, basketball history to me is important, and I think they look cool. They are 1/1s. They are, I think, on card autos. I guess that doesn't matter too much with the retired players. Yeah. But he has a very loopy, beautiful auto signature as well. Rick Barry does. You can just see like every single letter, like just that Barry just looks so beautiful right there.
You got to focus in on his Lamar Jackson.
Where was that
auction that's ending in 46 minutes?
Oh, the stained glass.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw it.
I mean, we got 19 watchers.
Gixon
and only 7 bids. I'm really curious how many snipers are coming in on that last minute.
Share this. Okay, so I learned how to share this tab instead, so we're looking at it now. We will be done with the podcast by that time, the recording. Thank you for those watching live. It's currently at $124.50. 7 bids, ends in 46 minutes. It ends tonight at 11 p.m. Go get your bids in. I'm like, this podcast is now sponsored by the eBay stores of Hobby Ohio and Carlos Rodon. Yeah, it's a 2020. What is that? 3rd year Lamar Jackson stained glass. It's beautiful. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, decent card. I don't really mess with too much stuff like that, but it selects stuff here and there. I do love 2nd, 3rd, 4th year golds.
Oh, yeah.
Gold vinyls, like low numbered stuff is where I like to sit at for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, it says this card isn't, so thank you for doing this as a seller. Being upfront is very good. It definitely gets you repeat customers and like, you're establishing reputation. But on the screen here, it says this card is in good condition. Some surface scratches might be present to prevent it from grading. Of course, prevent it from grading Gem 10. You can grade anything you want, but I think most people get the gist of what you meant by that. But this is fantastic. And yeah, you got a lot of seller feedback, a lot of items sold, 2,520. Let's say the exact number, because every single person who leaves seller feedback all of you are the MVPs. 2,582 seller feedback with 5,700 plus items sold. Joined July of 2010, and again, he's the home for the 99-cent cards and electronics. So this is really cool.
Feedback too is just, I value it. So like if there's been situations where I've shipped the wrong card. Happens like once in every hundreds, maybe thousands. Super rare.
Yep.
I think I've had one USPS package that got lost during COVID.
Yep.
I just message him and say, hey, I have the correct card. If it's something low value, keep the other card. I'm gonna send you the new card.
Yeah.
And you keep it both. If they have an issue where it's lost package, hey, give it a week. Let's see if the tracking updates. I'll put it, and then I'll refund you. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refund you. Just leave me positive feedback. I'll handle the the USPS insurance side of it, which they always pay out. That I've never not been paid out by an insurance claim.
Yeah.
So
I'm similar, very low. It happens. I made a podcast episode about sending the wrong like $5 card, gifted a card to like a friend's kid, and I just forgot about it, and it was in my store. I do want to ask each of you kind of like some final questions, but Chaz, how has that been for you? Like the shipping part, like have you ever sent the wrong card to the wrong buyer? And like, I think communication is the most important thing. Just letting the buyer know.
I have. I've done a couple things, and going back to the item description. If you still have my page up, it actually covers my item description is quite a bit longer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like it.
And it covers. I put it on every single card, and it covers everything from how I ship, what I ship, the quality of the card, what to expect out of it. I try to answer all of the questions because when I first started these listings, I get a ton of email or messages just asking me these redundant questions. And I just figure if I bullet pointed out everything, it would be easier. So anyways, yes, I have messed up 2 different ways. One, I've accidentally sent the wrong card. I've also sold a card and misplaced it and not been able to find it. And literally the reason why it didn't fall behind anything or anything, but the cardboard boxes, whatever they're called, with the 4 rows in them.
Yeah.
At one point with the football card, I started putting some sideways, like on the side.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because I have everything organized by teams for a certain year. Now I inventory everything with SKUs. So everything has its own individual serial number now on my custom SKUs, which is the smartest thing I ever did. My father gave me that tip. I was like, wow, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Now it's just a matter of counting. But I lost the cards. I immediately cancel, immediately refund. If I find it, when I message the seller too, and I say, look, I am so sorry. No, I don't know what else I can do.
Exactly.
I don't want to hold on to your money any longer. I'm going to continue to search. If I find it, I'll be more than happy to give you a discount on it.
Right.
That's one other mistake that I made. So I used Mascot, which is the middle service, that platform that kind of lets you talk to Whatnot, My Card Post.
That's the omni-channel selling, kind of like once you sell it on one platform, it takes it off all of them, so you don't sell more than once, right?
It's made errors.
Okay.
So
they're not a sponsor, so it's all good.
I used it at a card show that was connected to it. Sold a bunch of cards. I did a big deal. I did like a big, like $8,000-9,000 lot deal.
Nice.
And I took pictures of everything. And as I was peeling them off, I was going on to Mascot and I was permanently deleting the card. And it's supposed to take it off all platforms.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't. It didn't talk to eBay the way that it should have.
Yeah.
I sold those cards, and just coincidentally, right? Those cards sold within like 2 weeks after that card show on eBay.
Of course.
And I'm like, and I had to, and I've seen on the Sports Card Nonsense page, I've seen people post about this. The seller messaged me and said he lost the card or sold it at a show, and now it's not his, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, my friends,
it happens. It actually does happen.
The mistakes do happen. I feel absolutely terrible about it.
Yeah.
The best I could do is just try to inventory better.
The multi-channel middleware is definitely like lacking in the sports card world as it exists everywhere else. I know there's Magpie. I haven't really checked it out, but I would love to I would love to just do my slabs and eBay, something really simple. I loved my slabs during COVID. It's kind of slowed down.
I used my slabs. I had 0. I made 2 sales. I love the guy who owns it. Good, solid dude. But 2 sales, and one of which it was like a $500 card, said delivered. He made a whole stink, said he never got it.
Gotcha. This is not your shop, so I should leave this.
Yeah, that is not my shop.
I was scrolling and I found a Egbuka, I guess. No, can I ask you, so that other person put like $3.50 shipping. So actually I don't have anything up here. I wanted to talk a little bit about shipping. We probably won't go more than an hour 30, so maybe 10 more minutes. Because one thing I want to say up to this point is you guys have been excellent. I've been learning a lot. The final question I want to ask before I leave is like, should I get an eBay store? But before we get there, you I have to present your screen, Hobby Ohio.
And we got to ask you guys some questions. We got to ask you, Denny, some questions.
Oh no, hot seat
before I could say to you if you should get an eBay store or not.
Yes, no, yeah, you need more information. Absolutely. So, what I wanted to ask was, so I've been in this position. I don't know if you guys have done this, where a card sells. I think a card is worthy of PWE/eBay standard envelope, where you can just do like 69-cent shipping, a postage, and put it in either an envelope or like one of these reinforced cardboard envelopes.
Yeah, rigid.
And a semi-rigid, and then I put the shipping at like $1.29 or $1.49, and then the card sells for more than $20. And I'm like happily surprised because I thought it was going to be maybe $15, but it goes for like $25.
I won't do it.
What do you mean by that?
I won't send a card with the eBay shipping for $125 if it goes for over $20 because it's not covered on insurance.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to when you do the eBay shipping, or if you post. I guess what you could do is like, I don't know if anyone would do this, but like you can handwrite the address and get it to that buyer. But eBay's automatic postage printing thing won't allow you to do anything over $20 with that $1.25. So my question to you is, do you eat that cost?
I just had it happen where somehow a buyer bought a card for like $27 and was able to do it with eBay shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And I refunded the guy. I said, I'm not sending it this way because it's something just felt off. First of all, I don't know how he did that. I'm going to rewind. Sorry, Austin, that I'm gobbling this up. I have another big problem with eBay's algorithm. If you put in multiple shipping options, if you put the $1.25 option and then you put UPS ground advantage option on an auction because you don't know exactly where it's going to land, right? eBay should, by default, if it goes over $20, knowing that they'll only insure up to, by default, it should switch to ground advantage, right?
Thank you. Yeah,
it doesn't all the time. That's one. Now, two, I've noticed on my listings, if I have both options available, they get way less. If I have a $20 card that has ground advantage as an option, I get way less views on that card. The second I switch it to just, eBay shipping for $125. And yes, to answer your other question, I absolutely take it down to 1 ounce after it's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm paying for goods. I'm paying for my time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's worth the extra 70 cents, right? Sorry.
I always do calculated shipping. It's always first class ground. And I mean, your eBay fees are coming off the total amount, which is shipping included. So you're really eating a lot more if you're doing free shipping. It is good. Like, it looks good. I'm going to charge you for it. It's my time. You're still paying postage and using supplies. And on some of those cheaper stuff, that's why I go with ComC, because you have to think about how much is an hour of your time worth.
Yeah.
Think about how much, and if you ship a bunch of dollar, cheap stuff on the eBay envelope, it's like, how much time did it take you to list that card? How much time did it take you to package it up, go to the post office? And it's like,
Time.
if
Austin,
my time is,
do you have a referral code for ComC?
they don't do it. I asked them if they did, but I was like, I would say my time's worth like 40 an hour.
Right.
Sponsor,
That's fair.
yeah, I think he was joking
It's
about
not
like
worth my-
sponsorship. Yeah, you're
I
doing a great
love
job.
that.
I wanted to come see now. I mean, yeah.
I got to fix
that's
this
exactly
page, though,
why.
by the way. It's frustrating me that all is showing up is the football. I've got like so much stuff, and I'm like, why is it just all the Bowman that you're
Sort
scrolling on?
best match, newly list ending soonest.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Just in.
So I was surprised you guys even mess with the under 20 stuff. I mean, I know I have it. It's Roki Sasaki stuff.
It takes time, man. It takes time, and I think, and who's the owner of ComC? Is his name Chris? I feel like, or something.
I forgot, but I know they are powered by eBay. Made a huge investment into ComC.
They did. That's true.
And he does a lot of shows in Ohio, and the next one, I think I'm going to bring him like 4 or 5 boxes, right, and just be like, here you go, man. Right?
Yeah, because it gets cross-posted. Cross-listed onto eBay anyways.
Yeah.
So like you want to focus on a lot of cards where they don't exist on ComC right now. We have nothing into them. They're gonna sell. They're on the ComC platform, and then they're also on eBay.
Nice.
Can't beat it.
I know with long podcasts, I don't know how many people stay near the end, and I definitely appreciate you guys' time. I did want to kind of maybe ask though, when it comes to that particular aspect of like, well, I know I asked like, when would you send it to ComC? When would you do just like eBay and all that? But I wanted to share with you, Austin, that question about like, I can't believe you guys mess with the lower end. I'll be honest with you. When I had that big fat zero, I was so afraid of running any auctions for any reasonable card that was over like $5 even. Because I just didn't want to like lose too much. It's really funny is actually the first card I ever sold was a Franz Wagner silver prism rookie, and it sold for like $7. And people and I posted about it on Instagram, and people thought I was trolling, or that, oh, how could you do this? Like that card I knew was over $5, but I also, it was almost like a lost leader, right? I was trying to get some traction. I was trying to get some eyeballs, and I had it listed with other 30, 40 cards, and I wanted people to kind of like get attracted to my page. So having said that, I kind of like, I don't know, like to go from zero, like I'm currently at 1,000 items sold, and like that took a long time. I mean, it only took, when I say only, like for some people to get to 1,000 can take years. For some people, power sellers, it could take months. But for me, it took about a year plus, and I was really proud about that milestone, 1,000. But I knew that there were so many little, PWE, $3, $4, $5 cards that got me to that number, as opposed to, home runs. I was going for not even singles. I was going for bunts.
Yeah, well, we're talking about growing like your business as sports cards too. The whole thing is scaling. What's the next step on how do you scale next? And it's having more time to do more stuff. That's where ComC comes in. Once you hit that level, you should start sending more and more there, where it's automated. You're doing less. You have more free time to do other stuff, to buy larger lots, to buy higher end cards.
Yeah,
and that's where it shifts. And like the beauty in it is, once you get to that point, we are buying $1,000 cards. My $1,000 cards don't last long. They don't last more than a week. My showcases are never over $1,000 cards because I sell them so fast. Like,
wow,
it's the nice part of it. And then I use that $1,000 to go buy 99-cent auction stuff in ComC, and it's automating some of my time. So that's like just a business decision on how to scale.
That's pretty cool.
Well, Austin, please scroll through my page, man. I'm happy to work any deals with you.
Yeah, I love it.
eBay, you didn't hear that.
People come together. No, that's how I met one of my new card friends, who I split like 2 boxes of Prism Hobby, 2024 Prism Hobby, is just talking on eBay communications. And I was like, hey, look, again,
I will say that my Instagram is the Hobby Ohio. If you want to make some deals, hit me up there.
Yeah. Austin, where are you based out of for you to like, set up as a dealer as well, or like have showcases?
So I usually just do, I'm in North Carolina. I usually do Raleigh,
Raleigh
shows.
500. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big show. 500 tables. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
No
that's
joke.
a big show. I don't do that one anymore. The inside pitch ones are really good.
Okay.
That great promoter here in Raleigh, and highly recommend folks check those out. They just had one a few weeks ago.
I may be coming down to Wilmington later this year, so I'll see you in North Carolina. I don't know where. I know there's Greenville show. I know a bunch of the promoters in the North Carolina and like Southern Virginia and Northern Virginia, of course, areas. But I look forward to seeing you. I don't know, Chaz. Maybe next time I see you is maybe like the National or something like that.
I'll be there. I'll be in Chicago.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's how far of a drive is that for you from where you are?
It's 6 hours.
It's nothing. Yeah, that's for Midwest folks. That's like an hour of driving.
I'm good. I love Chicago.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Ready to see the National a little different than the Cleveland one. I did fantastic personally and financially in Cleveland, but being born and raised there, it breaks my heart that the traffic was such a nightmare and the hospitality of the bathrooms and all. But see, I don't even want to go into it. It breaks my heart. I still think it was a great show. I had a blast, but it was a shame that it wasn't in, like, we all couldn't be together. Like, from what I understand, Chicago, you know, you're going to the bars, you're doing dinners. It's everybody's kind of in the general vicinity versus Cleveland was so spread apart.
Disjointed. Yeah. No, people had to know to take the next exit off the freeway and then go the reverse way.
That's exactly what I did. The back
entrance. Yeah. I didn't even go. And I knew, like, when I was watching all these videos and reels and people were DMing me about how terrible it was and that I should tell people how terrible it was. I was like, let me just observe, let me watch. And I'm not going to like badmouth them, but I was like, there are definitely ways that I'm even looking in the videos to like optimize and maximize.
There was no traffic on that back road, and then you completely
cut
through the parking lot. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, Austin, are you going to go to Rosemont this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping I can make it out this year.
Okay, cool.
I've been before to Rosemont and enjoyed the show there. I love the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rosemont is definitely a nice suburban area to downtown Chicago, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. So before I let you guys go, I know you have some questions for me to help me answer this question. We are past the 1 hour and 30-minute mark, but should I Denny cards with my, I don't know, like 300 or so cards? I mean, you can always buy more inventory, but I have some slabs that are, PSA, of course, but then you got the BGS, CGC. I have like C3 grading slabs. I have raw cards. I definitely have a lot of base that I want to just give away to kids.
You need to set yourself a goal financially of what you want to do in the hobby.
Okay.
If you only have 300 cards that you're ready to get rid of, honestly, I would say you don't need an official store.
Okay.
Do you need to tie in an LLC to it and take it off of your personal name? Personally, I'd say yes, but
separate off the home finances with the side hustle of the
make it an actual business, pay taxes on it, do it that way. Yeah. But
and when I say 300, like, I mean, like, maybe it's one of those things where like 100 are slabs. There's like, I mean, there's more. I mean, there's like a whole. I have one vendor in my local area who's actually a show promoter, and he said he will buy a 400 card in the top loaders, like $2 cards, and he'll buy them for 50 cents each. And just top loaders alone, he wants that, and like he's okay with like the 50-cent price point. And I'm like, it's either that or ComC, or I can't even sell them for $1 on eBay because once you do the 99-cent plus the $1.29 for shipping, like people just don't want to buy for that amount. So I'm like, I have some options, but yeah, I have more than I definitely have more than 300 cards in my hobby man cave. But when I look at the cards that I want to like maybe list up, that's what I'm thinking, like 300 cards.
Yeah, I mean, I would still try it out on the lowest level. The newsletter thing that we weren't able to see.
Yes.
Though, like,
no, let's do it. Yeah, let's talk about that.
There's not.
I'm going to click off. I got to run, guys. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
You guys continue.
Yes, thank you, Chaz.
Much love. It was an absolute pleasure to meet both of you guys.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Chaz.
Same here.
See you soon. Care.
We are definitely going long, but I want the audience, whoever's this far, to hear about this magical, like, I'm not even saying that in a joking way, but like the power of newsletters. we're in an era right now within in the hobby where TikTok may be banned. There's more like meta, like there's so many weird things going on with Facebook and Instagram with like, fact checking and like people getting kicked off platforms, or like you're just not in control of your own social media platforms. You just aren't. We
Yeah.
think we are, but when it comes to email, newsletters, subscriptions, things that are you're able to communicate directly with your eBay audience, right?
Yeah, and there's a setting that you can do for new listings. And I do that for every Monday it goes out. Here's some new listings. 35% open rate, which is fantastic for email marketing, I guess, as a standard in most e-commerce email marketing. And I mean, if you're paying $4.95 a month and roughly $60 a year, and say some of those emails get hits on them where you're making a sale, like it could pay for itself. It needs deeper analytics as far as like click-through rates, and where a user's coming from. eBay's big on promoted. They'll say, oh, this came through promoted CPC, like a cost per click
Yes.
ad, because they want you to spend money on that.
Right. They're trying to tout their own. They're trying to market their own marketing in a way. So meta.
Yeah. So because they make money off that. They don't make
Yeah.
money off your free email.
So can I ask you, when it comes to that sponsored listing and the promoted listings, like, have you ever played around with, I know they go, so it's almost like tipping. They're like suggested 9 point something or 13 point, but some people have told me if you do even as low as like 1.9 or 2.9% sponsored promoting your listing, that it does help boost it a little bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it can. I think if you understand like cost per click marketing better than myself, you may be able to optimize it to where the juice is worth the squeeze there. Most of the time I see it as eBay capitalizing on ad spend. Because even when I see banners with like cards on them from eBay, I'm like, this is like stuff I don't care about. It's like crummy listings that people are paying to promote, and those same people will end up calling eBay feebay because they've spent a ton of money on listings, and then they're paying the promoted listings fee, and they're like, I got charged this much, and I'm like,
Yeah.
You selected promoted listings for this thing, and you shouldn't have done that. So there's a place for it. I don't know what the sweet spot necessarily is. I've played around with it, and I'm like, it's for the extra money there. If you have a card that's good enough, it's going to sell itself. That's sort of the hobby in a whole too.
That's
like
true.
Buying something esoteric that someone's saying, hey, I really want that, or it's a really hot card, that stuff's going to sell itself. And eBay's there to help market it anyways. Make your Instagram username the same as your eBay username and fill in the dots there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way to do it.
One thing that I've had a revelation, I think, during this episode is that maybe it's not necessarily mutually exclusive that I either do an eBay store subscription or ComC, because you're like living proof, one data point out of many, but you have both a ComC account where you do the 50 cents per card submission and all that, and I'm sorry, was it a $5 or $21 monthly eBay subscription?
I just do the $5 at this point.
$5. Okay. So you still get the power of the newsletter. You still get the power of kind of like this. You can run the sales. You can do the categories if you want. I know, what I really liked about you and Chaz is you guys have different styles, and I like learning from both styles and just kind of figuring out what may work for me. So I definitely, I'm going to think about, again, that it's not so much of a either or, that you can do both and more. Like you said, you encouraged me to do like bin, OBO, auction. I know you don't do so much of the low end or like under 20, but like try different things out. Send that newsletter out. Do ComC. Sell $1,000 card and start back from the ground level with the 99-cent cards and just kind of build back up. Like I love that. It's almost like a phoenix rising from the ashes almost, maybe, but like I like the idea of just just because you go into bigger cards doesn't mean that you ever like abandon the low end, because that's what in my head I was like, man, I want to grow up out of these, dollar value bin, dollar bin cards. But like, you, again, you're one data point out of many, but you're the type of person who is uh you have some really big nice cards of your PC player or otherwise, but you also still dig through those bins.
Yeah, and I mean, you see Brian doing it, CC2, digging value bins still. And if you talk to like dealers at National, is a good example. Folks, and there's the hobby's bigger than Instagram and social media, and guys who don't even post on eBay. They're all shows. You'll see a lot of those guys, they do low end, like they sell low end. There's guys who do COM-C off the low end.
Yeah.
The low end is the only like cards where you can buy something for $5 and sell it at a 500% markup.
Right.
You can't do that on high end, next day.
Right.
It's very rare unless you're finding like a steal or something. But
So the percentages sound awesome. Who doesn't want 500% return? And if you do that many times, it adds up. But having said that, it's the many times that adds up part that I'm having a little bit of a, like we just talked about how time is money, right? If you do
yep,
one card, yes, you won't get 500%, but if you can get 10% return on $1,000 card, that's $100 versus you having to grind out $100 doing that 500% on $5 cards. You'd have to do that, well, maybe not many more times, but you have to do that, X number of times more. So but again, I like how you are kind of sharing with me. You're not like a carnivore or a herbivore. You're an omnivore. Like you're eating different types of plants, fruits, veggies, meat, and all that. It's actually a really healthy way to look at it, because I think, and this could be a social media lens and thing that I'm grappling with because of my just content production and kind of like my perch, but so much seems to be so binary, either or. But it doesn't have to be that way. That's not real true life. You can enjoy multiple things at the same time.
yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's when you're looking through those value boxes and you see some like good cards and it's like solid cards all around. You just ask another vendor, how much for everything? What's your price? They usually say, give me your number. I'm not doing that. Give me your price first. I'm going to counter.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can take everything home so you don't have to. So, and that's where
That's
the best buys have been. You're turning $500 into 15
Yeah.
or $2,000 all on COM-C. You're not touching it. You're just pricing it. And
I think this is a great way to end, but I did want to ask you just for advice in front of the audience, because they might learn something from this. But I do have like a bunch of like really super low, like literally like dollar autos or $2 autos, or like not even real game worn patches. Not that a lot are game worn, but like the commemorative patches that you get in like top series 1 blasters. So I have a bunch of those type of cards, and rookie base rookies, and loan high numbered vets and all that stuff. So I have a buyer, a vendor slash promoter in my area who says, if you send me 400 of those, I'll give you $200. Like, do you think, like, without seeing the cards in question, right? But just like, what do you think about that type of transaction? Like, would you want to be the buyer in that or the seller in that?
for me, the buyer, because I'm going to send them to COM-C. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely dump stuff, but like that type of stuff does really well on there. You'll learn which stuff, those commemorative patches actually do really well on COM-C. I
Really?
know
Oh.
like that's kind of the stuff people don't care about. They want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, sure, I'll pay you 50 cents or less in bulk for that stuff all day. Pay 50 cents to list it. I'm into it for a buck. It can sell for $1.50 or $2. I'll take that
Austin, I
times
think
1,000.
I might have to have you on for a COMC discussion, like a separate,
Do it.
fresh new podcast. Maybe bring on some other guests who have COMC accounts, and just kind of like talk about that more. But you've been excellent in this. We're almost at 2 hours, which is
Yeah.
time does fly. But thank you for that advice. I think I just from my ease, I want others to win too. Like I know you're saying you'd rather be the buyer on that transaction. I also I've done it before, because the reason he even wants it is because he's bought it before and he's been happy with what I've given him. But like, I mean, I don't even know what top loaders go for, like used ones, but like maybe 10 for $1. I don't know, like 10 cents.
Yeah.
But he likes what he's getting, and I want him to win. I want people, like, he sets up at shows every week, right? There are those type of card show people who are like, he's a promoter, he's a vendor, and he that's his every Saturday of almost every weekend for him. For me, as someone who's not doing that, he does some of the show circuit and doesn't get out, because like I like, there's many reasons why I can't do it, but it just makes sense for someone like him to have those type of cards. Yeah, so I want him to win. But could I send him the Consi? Yeah, but then also I'm like wondering, like, will a Derek Lively Monopoly base rookie, is that going to sell for? Yeah, I guess it'll sell for more than 50 cents. But like, let's say it doesn't sell for $1 and I have to put it at 75 cents. I make a quarter off of it. Like, maybe this guy wins and he gets to sell it for $1, 10 for $10 type of thing at the show. I don't know. So anyway, good things to think about. But all these little dollars and cents, they all do add up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So. And then there is, of course, that internal ecosystem of the ComC money. So at least if I sold it to my vendor friend promoter, I would get like 200 in cash versus like the ComC bucks and all that. So
exactly.
But thank you, Austin. You have been excellent. I am gonna check out your eBay store, yours and Chaz's, bid on some things, because I can't believe you have Ralph Sampson 1-of-1 auto black select prism going for on auction. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that one. Of course, I say that and someone's gonna try to outbid me, but hey, it's all good. But thank you so much for your time. Good luck with the hobby, and we'll have you on again real soon.
Sounds great. I appreciate it, Danny.
All right, take care. Thank you everyone for listening, and watch out for episode 105, where we're going to talk about TikTok and just social media in general, I guess. But everyone, take care of yourselves and take care of others, and see you next time.